Welcome to Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Sean Anderson, and on this edition of Coach's Corner, we have Coach Brad Larimer, the Pohai boys tennis coach. And Brad is here to talk to us not only about the boys tennis team, but also the girls tennis team, as they are away as we film this. They are at regionals, and we'll get to that here in just a moment. Friday ended the season, the regular season for the girls, and then Saturday ended the regular season for the boys in tennis. It was down in Shawnee. How did it go?
Actually, both teams played really well. I actually got to take the girls on Friday. Larry had, and all the other coaches had some junior high kids in Tulsa that day, so I told him I would take the girls, and it was an enjoyable day. The doubles did pretty well. I think we got maybe a sixth and a seventh or something, and then the singles, we had one in the consolation finals, and I'm not really sure what the other one was. But they placed pretty well. I mean, they were at least in the middle somewhere, and it's a 16-team tournament, so they finished pretty well for ending the season.
Yeah,
and we were down a couple of players, so. They were working. I'm not sure where they were, but so
the girls played on Friday. The boys come back Saturday. The Shawnee tournament. There's 15 teams.
Right. There was one that couldn't come back for some reason. I'm not sure on Saturday, and so we were a team shy. And
the Wildcats a good showing though. Tied for third.
Right. We got third. We tied for third with Mustang and Yukon and. I can't remember even who got first and second. I was more concerned with my kids, but we did a really good job. We had 2 fifths and 2 sixths, which that field was a pretty good field. So it was great warm up for us for regionals next Monday. So.
Yeah, regionals, by the way, happening right now as we film this today, and of course you're watching this later. So regionals for the Pohai girls tennis team already taken place, and they're a week apart. And they do this for a specific reason. They put the regionals in the state for the girls, and then the regional in the state for the boys in the following week. Why is that?
Well, some schools, and especially in the smaller schools, they'll have one coach that actually will do both the boys and the girls, and it makes it a little bit easier on them because they can have 1 week with the girls and 1 week with the boys, and they're not trying to, it's already hard, especially when you get to the state tournament, when you got kids playing at the same time, and if you try to play the boys and the girls, and then they may be in 2 different sites.
Yeah.
When we draw up the regionals, of course there's a committee that does that. Your girls and boys may be in 2 different cities. Fortunately, we're going to Yukon in both of ours, but some teams don't have that. They may go somewhere on one of them and somewhere on another one, so it just makes it a little bit easier.
So if all goes well and like I said, you're watching this after the fact, so we already know at the time this is airing, but if all goes well at regionals today for the girls, then the state tournament will be this Friday and Saturday.
Right. We have an open seating meeting on Thursday evening. There's 4 regions of 8 teams, and what they do is they let 4 of the 8 in each region go to state tournament. So there's 16 teams, and sometimes in some divisions you may have a loaded division of 1 singles, and they may all get seeded. But it's one of those situations where we go and have the open seating meeting on Thursday evening, and then we start playing on Friday morning. And that's all classes, 6A, 5A, and 4A. So the state tournament's a pretty big thing. So
yeah. Well, coming up Monday, May 7th, that is when the boys will travel to Yukon for regionals. And your thoughts on regionals? So 8 teams, the top 4 will go to state. What you're looking for from your boys tennis team? What can you expect?
The 2 singles kids are the 2 twin 4-camp boys I got playing 1-2 singles. They're going to have a rough time. I mean, that's they're going to have to probably upset somebody to get to state tournament. there's some pretty good singles players right now, and they're probably right in that fifth spot. Where I don't know whether I can get them seated or not in that region, but they'll have an opportunity to play somebody to be able to go.
Yeah.
I believe that both doubles should get seated in the top four. Now, there's going to be 5 or 6 teams that are pretty good. So I mean, if we don't play our potential, there's always
Right.
room for an upset.
Right.
It's kind of like my singles kids. I hope they upset somebody. Well, there's somebody somewhere else wants to upset one of my kids. So,
Right.
but those things. I've had kids that were in the top 4 that didn't make it, and I had kids that were outside the top 4 that did make it. So
Yeah.
you got to be prepared to play when it comes to Monday, because
Absolutely. Yeah, certainly. Well, the state tournament for the girls coming up this weekend, the state tournament for the boys looking ahead, the 11th and 12th. And Coach Larimer, just kind of a season recap. I know the regionals in the state, that's a big deal, but just the regular season recap, how would you describe it?
I thought that we got better, which we should, as the year went on. There were some things that we did better. In fact, I just have 2 kids out of the 6 that are playing for me that actually was on the varsity team last year. So, we grew in those spots. In fact, we even grew at 1 doubles. I got a couple kids playing. My 2 seniors play 1 doubles, and even Bradley and Max. I mean, continually got better this year, and I thought that they beat some people that they hadn't beat before. Which makes it really nice. And sometimes when you get seniors, they get that senioritis, and
Sure.
but those 2 guys are still playing. I mean, they're anxious to get out there and play, and I think we'll do real well with all of them.
Absolutely.
And when you look back on the season, that's more of what you want. Is my kids growing? Are they getting better? Do they still want to be there? Are they pushing to get better? And I think we have that out there.
Yeah.
So
Academic performance. Every coach gets that eligibility report. Has that ever been a concern for you?
I'm going to say that most of the time I don't even have to worry about looking at it.
Right.
And, I can't say all the time, because I do have individuals every once in a while that will dip below,
Yeah.
So I'm one of those grade checkers anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, we got the capabilities of looking to see what our kids' grades are.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I get on my class and they're there, and I'm going to look up all the grades.
Right.
Before that report hits, I'm going to know what they already make, and I'm going to be on them. So,
Right.
But most of the time, those tennis kids are really good. In fact, I just filled out our academic thing for our award, and I think of course, this is a non-weighted scale, which you can only get to 4, and I think it was 3.8 last semester.
Wow.
So, I mean,
Wow.
like I say, I don't usually have to worry too much about it.
Yeah, that's
So,
nice. Well,
yeah.
some athletes that are also some scholars, too,
Right.
on the Pohai tennis team, both the boys and girls teams. Coach Larimer, thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
Good luck at the regionals and state with the boys.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. It is Pohai Tennis. That was our edition of Coach's Corner with head coach Brad Larimer. And we look forward to seeing how the girls and the boys do at regionals and state. That's going to do it for this edition of Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. Thanks for watching. Until next time.